we saw many constructive developments with Bitcoin investors in the second quarter. More large banks in the Western world are supporting Bitcoin. Large exchanges are supporting Bitcoin. We see an expansion in the on-ramps. We see more institutional investors supporting Bitcoin, Bitcoin funds, Bitcoin ETFs being applied for, more adoption of and more acceptance of Bitcoin throughout mainstream finance and also mainstream media. And our macro strategy is to acquire and to hold Bitcoin. Our plan with regard to that, of course, is to continue to acquire Bitcoin, continue to hold Bitcoin. It's a very straightforward strategy. Along the way, we'll be educating the world with regard to the benefits of digital property. We'll advocate Bitcoin and the benefits of the technology to corporations like ourselves, to institutional investors. We'll help explain Bitcoin to regulators, to the public, to the media. We were able to purchase 13,005 Bitcoin using the proceeds of that debt offering. And we did that around $37,617 a Bitcoin. We thought that was a good price. And the reason that we did that deal was we thought that that was a deal that would be accretive to the other classes of our security holders. And it presented itself at that particular time. As Fong noted, in the entire quarter, we were able to acquire more than that. More than 13,005 Bitcoin. We acquired 13,759 Bitcoin at slightly higher average price, 38,467. But we're very comfortable with that acquisition. I was very pleased to see us making such good progress and ending the quarter with 105,085 Bitcoin. At this point, we've now invested $2,741,000,000 in Bitcoin. For those of you who have followed me, you know that I believe Bitcoin is digital property, and it's the equivalent of digital gold on a big tech network. But calling it digital gold really understates it. Digital property is a bit better. The ability to convey billions of dollars of value at the speed of light and to program it, and the fact that that digital property has an open protocol that any company can write to makes it a very special thing, a very disruptive technology for this decade. We think that acquiring Bitcoin at this time is going to be a wise strategic move. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. And we feel like there's a land grab right now to acquire as much as you can, because Bitcoin represents a macroeconomic solution to those that want a non-sovereign store of value, but it also represents a technology solution. It's a technical solution to mobile companies like an Apple or a Google or a Facebook, because they could implement digital property right into their mobile apps. PayPal and Square have been extraordinarily successful by doing this. It's also a technical solution to energy companies, because if you have stranded geothermal or stranded renewable, or if you have nuclear power, or if you have any kind of generator, stranded natural gas, or any kind of energy capability that's running at less than 100% utilization, you can monetize that stranded energy, or you can recycle that wasted energy using Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin is a compelling technical solution for the energy industry. It's a compelling technical solution for big tech. It's a compelling macroeconomic solution. And because it's so decentralized, you have millions and millions of people thinking about how they can add value to Bitcoin and how they can use Bitcoin to add value to their own businesses. A few general views on the Bitcoin industry right now. The China exodus dominated the news in Q2. I think the China exodus was a really good thing for Bitcoin. The result was a decentralization of Bitcoin mining throughout the world. Bitcoin mining is really the Bitcoin security network. So the decentralization of the Bitcoin security network everywhere in the world made Bitcoin more secure and made Bitcoin more decentralized. The China exodus was also a good thing because it decentralized Bitcoin holdings. And you saw a general shift of the nexus of Bitcoin holdings and Bitcoin mining from the east to the west and diffused throughout the entire rest of the world. I think that long term, the westernization of Bitcoin is going to be good for Bitcoin. I think it's good for the US dollar. I think it's good for US technology. It's good for Western technology. And generally, what we're seeing is that Bitcoin is now aligning with the big tech networks from Amazon, from Apple, from Google, from Facebook, right? These are very, very powerful, dominant digital networks. And whereas they have grown to dominance by offering digital music and digital retail and digital books and digital communications, now we have something new, digital property, that is aligning on the Bitcoin network with all of these other Western networks. And it's a good thing. Capital is flowing into Bitcoin in the second quarter. We saw this in the form of Bitcoin miners coming public. There are lots of Bitcoin miners that are either public or coming public, and that's going to be a continual trend in the coming 6 months. And it's an exciting trend because a network of 12 to 24 publicly traded companies that are securing the Bitcoin network are going to be beneficial to the asset class. They're bringing financial capital to Bitcoin. They're bringing political capital to Bitcoin. They're bringing technical capital to Bitcoin. They're bringing human capital to Bitcoin. And they're bringing a lot of credibility to the entire digital property network that is Bitcoin. We saw many constructive developments with Bitcoin investors in the second quarter. More large banks in the Western world are supporting Bitcoin. Large exchanges are supporting Bitcoin. We see an expansion in the on-ramps. We see more institutional investors supporting Bitcoin, Bitcoin funds, Bitcoin ETFs being applied for, more adoption of and more acceptance of Bitcoin throughout mainstream finance and also mainstream media.